Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. And if this is your first time tuning in, I would appreciate it if you hit subscribe, and if you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications of future videos. So this is just going to be a routine inspection of hive number 1. I was out here last Sunday. Today is Monday, May 11th, so it's been just over a week. 1 day delay this week due to a few other commitments I had to take care of. So last week, everything looked fine, so given the time of year, just going to be checking for swarm cells and just to make sure the queen has enough space to continue laying. I do have one super on there. They have a few drawn out frames, so I'll also peek into the honey super just out of curiosity to see how it's moving along, progressing, and kind of like the brood chamber, if they need more room to store honey, I will add another super. So it is a beautiful day here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's about 70 degrees, the humidity is relatively low, feels fantastic, and like usual, enough of me yapping, let's get into hive number 1 and see how they're doing this week. Already gave them some smoke, so no need for more. Too much smoke, not necessarily a bad thing, but you don't need to go overboard with it. Alright, yeah, they look like they're working away. So the outside frames, kind of like usual, not much. I'm running this as a 9-frame honey super, if you haven't watched the previous videos, but that is the most bees I have seen yet this season working the honey super frames. So it's almost mid-May. This is the we're entering the prime time of our nectar flow here, mainly that being June. So just the fact that I have more bees in the honey super makes me pretty happy. I've had some problems with these hives this year. This hive was just like kind of slow going, meaning just slow to really build up out of winter. So they're a little behind schedule, if there's such a thing. Let's see. Yep, there we go. And a tip I received a while back that I continue to share almost every video is to check the queen excluder for the queen, just in case for the odd event that she's on there. It doesn't look like she is, so that's fine. Definitely going to give them some smoke now. That's one of the drawbacks to the plastic excluders, is that, darn smoker went out already, is that it is, at least my experience, it is difficult to remove the queen excluder without disrupting the bees in comparison to the metal queen excluders, because they're a lot more rigid. They can just pop off. There we go. Thought I had this thing going good enough, but guess not. Alright, yeah, like I said in the intro, this is just going to be a routine inspection, so just going to move through the frames, see how the queen's doing as far as brood build up, make sure she has enough space to continue to lay, which she should. Just an overall assessment of the hive. So outside frame, typically a food store, and then the frame that faces the outside of the box, not much going on. This is a newer frame. And it's always good to have your queen clip ready in case you find the queen need to cage her in the event that you find some swarm cells or supersedral cells. I tend to refer to them just as swarm cells, but they can be either. They're definitely storing away the food. That's a nice food frame, a lot of nectar, uncapped cells with nectar that hasn't been cured to honey yet. But yes, that's a really good food frame. I don't want to jinx myself, but it seems like the bees are remaining relatively calm, other than the few that are buzzing me. It is so nice today. 70 degrees. I mean, it feels fantastic out here. This is a weird frame. I got some queen cups right here, which, let's see. That's just a dry cell. Same there, dry cell. I say it's a weird frame because this is one of those frames where they've developed this like tunneling of comb, or they're tunneling behind the comb, I guess. Quite a few drones, which that's a good thing. I read something recently that if a hive has a healthy drone population, that's also a sign that it's a healthy hive. The concept of the article was if a queen or a colony can kind of waste the resources on drones, since they don't really contribute much, they're just on standby for mating, that if a colony can waste the resources on drones, that it's one of the ways to tell that you have a healthy colony. So we are on frame 4, and this is some nice looking brood. What are they up to here? Let's see, it's a queen cell, or actually a queen cup. It's a dry cell. Nice looking brood. I imagine that was there last time, and they've capped it since the last inspection. And considering the amount of brood and pupated larvae surrounding it down here, it's a good frame to check for eggs. And let's see. What's going on here? There's quite a few cells, open cells that would be good for eggs. I don't see any though. Not yet. Is that what's poking me? They may have recently hatched and the bees just cleaned them out, which is why there aren't any eggs in the open cells, but surrounding the capped brood throughout the bottom of that frame was a very nice amount of pupated larvae, so in the process of pupating, and eventually it'll be capped in within the next few days. The frame's got some nice weight to it. So again, we're on 5 now. Nice patch of capped brood, which is a good area to look for eggs. Don't see any on that side. Let's check the other side. Whole bunch of food. Some open cells, pupated larvae, but I don't see any eggs yet. Let's take a step back, look at the overall frame for the queen. Out there. See if we can find the queen first and then possibly look for some eggs. Okay. I don't think she's on this frame. You would think this would be a good frame to find eggs with the amount of open cells and everything, but I don't see any. Let's check the other side. Maybe she just hasn't made her way back to this frame yet, because it looks like the cells they've been cleaned out. So again, maybe they just hatched. She hasn't made her way back yet. Okay. It's frame 7. See what we got here. Another queen cup they're working. Dry, queen cup, dry cell. Ton of brood. Or brood, no kidding. Drone brood. Alright, so again, we got capped brood there, obviously. Okay, we got some eggs. There's some pupated larvae right here where the light's at, and then right next to it, we have some eggs. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's eggs throughout all the open cells here, so that's what I was thinking. Maybe the previous frames, she just hasn't made her way back yet to put an egg in them. But this frame has, yeah, this frame is full of eggs. So maybe she's working her way from the right side of the box to the left side of the box. Let's keep checking, because what is this, 10, 9, 8, 7, that looks like a queen cell right there, right here in the corner. Typically, or a swarm cell actually, you'll find them on the bottom. So now, even though I found eggs that appear to be a day old or so, I really want to find the queen. And if I can find the queen, part of swarm management, I can tear down that queen cell and remove the option for them to swarm, at least for now. So that was frame 7. Just trying trying to make a mental note of that. So I found eggs. I can make the assumption they're queen right, but yeah, there she is right there. Look at her. Just moving through them. Maybe you can see her lay an egg. Oh, there she is right there. Just laid an egg. At least I think so. Alright, so now that I know where she is, actually I'm going to try and cage her real quick so I can move through the rest of the frames and not worry about damaging her. Okay. Here's the tricky part, because previous videos, if you watch, I've managed to lose the queen because these queen clips take absolutely no tension at all to open back up, and if you have sticky gloves like I do, they can open accidentally, and you know, that creates its own problems. Alright, give me a second. Yeah, there she is. You can see her. Hopefully you can. She looks good. Big old abdomen. Alright, so I'm going to set her aside. I'm going to go back to frame 7 and tear down that could be swarm cell. Let me double check this frame real quick. Give them some smoke. That's good to see. They're still queen right. So again, this time of year, you know, you want to make sure your hives are queen right, and you can do so by finding eggs, but that's not always a safe bet, because you can have day-old eggs and she may have swarmed that same day or the following day. So you definitely want to find the queen. I can tell you right now, it is not always that easy. Sometimes, if you watch my previous videos, you'll see me struggle for a long time. And unfortunately, sometimes if you can't find the queen and they have swarm cells, and especially if you can't find any eggs, they may have already swarmed. And my opinion at that point, you just gotta let nature take its course. So they're obviously queen right. I'm just trying to knock down some bees off this frame here. Get back to frame 7. It should be this one. Tear out what could be a queen cup. Not 100% sure. I don't know what was in there. Yeah, they had something in there, but it's just hard to tell what that was. Alright, let me finish up real quick. Look at frame 9 and 10. So at this point, I'm not saying not to be gentle with your bees, but if you have the queen caged, you know where to find her. So you can move a little quicker. Oh, man, that is a lot of food. And they have a nice open patch. And that was something that the State Beekeeping Association did this past week. They had a webinar, and I thought some good information was, if you're unsure if your hive is queen right, other than checking for eggs and the other usual things to do when you're trying to determine if they have a queen or not, is to check for, or to notice, if they had a lot of food, they were starting to become honeybound, but then more so if they're opening up a center spot of a frame, which they're making room for the queen to lay. So that's also a sign that you might have a queen. She might be a virgin queen, but the bees still know they have a queen, and they're making preparations for that queen to start laying some eggs. Alright. Alright, good to see that they are queen right. Try and move things around here, get everything set back up, and then I'll just open up the queen cage. Oop. Drop her in. Alright. Awesome. That was a good inspection. Let's get a close-up of this. And let's see if we can actually watch her go back in. That might be difficult because of the amount of bees. Come on. On the clip, and trying to do this single-handedly and with some really sticky gloves. Alright, one last look. She's definitely still in there. Let's get her released. There she goes. Right there. Go back into the hive, please. She's hanging out at the top. Maybe some incentive smoke will help. Either way, let's get the queen excluder back on. And there we go. Inspection done. Alright, hey, thanks for checking out the channel, everybody. Routine inspection of hive number 1. Found some eggs. Could easily make the determination that they're queen right, but since it's swarm season, and because I found what could have been a swarm cell, I needed to find the queen, and I understand that looked extremely easy. I'm rather pleased with that experience. It doesn't always go that way. Sometimes it is extremely difficult to find the queen, so if you're watching this video, don't think it's that easy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. If you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications. And tune in next week for another routine inspection of hive number 1. Let's see what the front looks like. It's usually a good bit of commotion. That's not too bad. They'll settle down in about 10 minutes or so. Doesn't take them too terribly long.